All right, welcome to CAPECAST. We are on our second week of having special guests here. Everybody say hi to Jeff. Say hi to Chris. Chris, Jeff, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome
Brandon,
back, Jeff.
how are you
Welcome,
doing?
Chris. I'm good. Doing good.
Yeah. So Al's missing this week.
Al is
What's up with that?
missing.
Replace.
Al
Yep.
wasn't. Al thought he
Big
was kidding.
announcement.
Yeah, Al thought he was kidding last week whenever he said that Jeff was replacing him. That made for an even more awkward conversation after the show was over.
Now I'm the new Jeff.
That's right. We got 2 for 1.
That's right. Am I out next week?
Yeah, that's right.
Al is sick
I'm on
tonight,
deck.
so appreciate you guys filling in. Jeff,
Yeah.
thanks for filling in again. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
A lot
yeah.
less red hair on the episode tonight.
I guess in a minute
probably
we
a
could
lot
probably
less moodiness.
We should probably, I guess, let Chris do a little intro as far as his current Star Wars fandom and where that stands. Because we
I don't know if
had a
there's a
little
current
background
fandom
last
so
week with
much.
Jeff.
Before we do
Um,
that,
Well, I'm saying
This-
in a minute. In a minute.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is our Mandalorian review episode. So every week we've been reviewing the episodes as they've been coming out on Disney Plus. This week we are reviewing Chapter 14, The Tragedy. And just to give you guys, if you're on social and you love talking about movies or comic book movies, invite you to check us out on Twitter at CapeCast Show, and then on Instagram you can follow our movie review show that we do at CiNEMACHiNE Pod. So, Chris, tell us about how much you hate Star Wars now.
I hate it now, but it wasn't always that way. And The Mandalorian is helping for sure.
That's
But
good. That's
I
good.
don't know. I mean, I think like all of you guys and a lot of other people, I was like the classic Star Wars fanboy nerd. Loved every little intricate detail of the original trilogy. Kind of like glazed over the prequels when they came out, and
Who did that?
yeah. But no, I grew up on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Luke was my hero, and just to kind of use
You
that as
were-
an example,
You
Look
were
what they did.
you liked Force Awakens though when it came out.
I liked Force Awakens when it came out.
It's
And I
Last
still
Jedi was
don't
good.
hate that. I know that me and Jeff have differing opinions on that one. But for me, it was just like so exciting sitting in that theater, and it was like the music hits and the scroll starts going, and it's like, oh, I'm in Star Wars again. And the prequels never felt like Star Wars to me, even as a kid when they came out. And that like it did right off the bat. And I know it was a lot of like rehashing old stuff and kind of just a new skin over some of the old story, but I still enjoyed it. And it was still fun to me, and I was excited to see where they were going to go with it. And then
Right.
Last Jedi happened, and I canceled seeing the movie with you guys when I was going to, and I saw it prior. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to see
You
it
were
again.
you were definitely in the majority, I think, with your opinion of The Last Jedi.
I just, I didn't know anything about that movie going in, because like you guys
Yeah.
like try not to like watch a lot of trailers. I try not to read at this point in my life. I just like to let's just experience it and see how it is.
Yeah.
So I sat into that, and I was pretty excited, and it just
Did you
kept
ever end
getting
up
worse
seeing
and
Rise of
worse.
Skywalker?
I did, not until like a month ago,
Okay.
and I hated that too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Good.
Yeah.
All positive things.
All positive things. So yeah, I hated those 2 movies. I really didn't like Solo. Rogue One, I thought was okay,
Mm.
but I've been digging Mandalorian.
Cool.
And it's the past couple weeks have been really cool too.
And just to recap, in case you missed last week's episode, Jeff is kind of similar to Chris with his disdain for the recent stuff, but he's
I
our
could just turn
resident
it up with Jeff.
book. Yeah, he's our resident book geek, Star Wars book geek. So we're leaning on him for knowledge on all the Thrawn stuff and whatnot that they're bringing into the show.
All the legacy stuff they thrown
Um,
in the garbage can.
That's right, but maybe not anymore.
It's the garbage.
Maybe not anymore.
Garbage
Who knows?
chute.
Garbage heap.
That's right. So let's to start, just kind of go around the horn and give like quick general thoughts on whether you liked the episode, whether you didn't like the episode. And we'll kick off with Barndon.
Let's
Go
let a
ahead.
guest go first. I don't want to go first. It feels rude.
Okay. I was having you show them the way, but you don't. If you want to put the pressure on them, go ahead.
This is the way. The way that we go is we let the guests. go first.
Okay.
Rob.
All right.
Okay. Come on.
Well, Jeff,
All right.
fire away.
I liked it. I mean, it wasn't as awesome as it was last week or the week before with Thrawn.
No mention of Thrawn.
Yes, but it was cool to see Slave One.
One word.
That's all
Yes.
he needed.
Man.
If somebody just said Thrawn, just like out of context, no
I'll
relation
just-
to the episode, he's like, yes!
Yeah, I'll get up and dance.
This
That's
is the
what I
best
told
episode
Ryan.
ever.
Because we were chatting, Ryan and I were chatting about it, and he's like, "Did you like this week's episode?" I was like, "Well, I didn't dance when I watched it." So overall, I thought it was pretty good. It was cool to see Slave One out and about, and see Boba Fett in the flesh once more, and him kind of claim that character. Yeah, I mean, there were some things that I had issue with, like timing, as far as like the script writing, that I didn't like. But outside of that, I thought it was a pretty solid episode. So.
One thing I noticed about this episode was it was like 12 minutes or something shorter than the last one. Like a significant amount.
Was this the shortest of the season?
Maybe.
I think I'm pretty sure I read that. Well, Robert Rodriguez was a late addition to this episode, and apparently the original script for this episode was only like 18 pages, which equates to like 18 minutes, typically, give or take, of screen time.
Okay.
And so he was like, when he came in, he was like, "So, do you want me to just like elaborate on this? Because it's going to be a pretty short episode if we film it as it is." And so that's why the battle is like so beefed up. And I think they brought in. I think they may have brought in an additional. I'm wondering if the Boba and what was the other Finnick? I'm wondering if that fight was an addition as far as the actual confrontation and
it
fight.
felt like it
thing.
was a plug, like a bolt-on sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what Rodriguez said, that he added an additional fight to kind of beef up the time a little bit.
Gotcha.
So that could have been it. Because I don't think they would have not had the Stormtrooper fight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Chris?
Pretty much same page as Jeff. I really liked the episode overall. Probably liked the last one a bit more, but this one was cool for different reasons. Just seeing like Slave One kind of like swoop in, and just the way they've kind of teased Boba Fett so far. I didn't really think that they were going to just like inject him totally like this. I thought we were just going to like be teased for like another 2 seasons or something, like,
Right.
I guess kind of formulaic with a lot of shows that are kind of episodic like this. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see like, okay, Boba Fett's in this. And then I think this is the first time ever, and I didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars, but as far as anything live action goes, they finally like gave the world a reason to love Boba Fett the way the world already does. Because I mean, what has he done so far? The only reason anybody thinks he's like this bad dude is because Han Solo goes, Boba Fett. Like, other than that, we never really saw him do anything. He just looked cool and inspired
cool
Daft
outfit.
Punk. I don't know.
Yep. Brandon, what you got?
yeah, I like this episode a lot. I was a little like, at first when the Stormtroopers arrived, I was a little like a little unsure about it as far as the execution. I felt like it came across that the initial start of that battle sequence felt a little fan filmy to me. And part of it was probably because of the locale.
Yeah, a little bit.
It felt like it could have been like Colorado or somewhere. Like, it didn't feel like a Star Wars planet, except for like the little like, stone Jedi rock area. The rest of the location just felt like it could be in, anywhere in the States.
Right.
But, and also the filming was just a little inspired at first. But I will say that after a little, it kind of found its footing. I really appreciated both, Boba's like regular, like Sand People costume fighting technique with that like spear. Apparently that big weapon he had is
Gaffy
some
stick.
like Samoan weapon because he's like Samoan.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't a gaffy stick?
Well, I don't know what that means, but
That's the
That's That's what it is.
Jeff's like, no.
That's the stick that he was holding, like the sand people use that they fight with.
Okay, that's what it's called. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Sorry. Yes, he was using his gaffy stick. And
procedural.
I don't know. Maybe I misinterpreted what I read, but it seemed like it was some sort. I guess he's a Kiwi. He's from New Zealand, so I thought I read that it was some weapon that's like used. Maybe it's a repurposed thing for.
I mean,
probably.
let me do a quick Google. I mean,
I think
One
I
of
did hear
you
something similar.
is
Like
gonna
Maori
look like a
warrior
moron.
inspired.
Which one will it be?
It's all right. We'll take Jeff's word for it. But yeah, so the gaffy stick, that was really cool. And then obviously I thought that when he suits up as Boba was pretty awesome. And like Chris was saying, it like finally gave people a reason to really think this character was awesome.
Right.
I mean, dude's got shin missiles. What else do you want? So,
That's Brandon's dream, calf missiles.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
oh,
That
that's
is my
hilarious.
dream. Yeah, I got more to say, but as far as overall thoughts, I thought it was really solid. Didn't like it quite
Cool.
as much as last week's, but really good. Enjoyed it.
Cool.
Ryan,
This
what
is
about
this is my favorite episode so far. Oddly enough, I've watched it 2.5 times, half because I didn't have time to finish it. I really liked it. The Boba Fett stuff was awesome. I loved when his ships just pan up and his ship's flying in. And the action sequences with him, I loved kind of how the callbacks, the little callbacks they had. I know it's a prequel callback, but the quote where he says, "I'm just a simple man trying to make his way in the galaxy," or whatever, is something that Django said in 2.
Name the movie.
And do I?
I said name the movie. You said 2.
Attack the
you?
Clones.
And 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Wars 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not 5, Jeff. Not 5.
It's funny. I can't name the prequels. So.
And I love there's a shot after he armors up where like he's almost firing like at camera, and he like tilts his helmet like towards camera at the same time, and I'm just like, that's like the most Boba Fett shot.
There was definitely a lot of like still moments you could take out of
It
this
was
episode
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah. I was like, that one was storyboarded for sure. But yeah, and I was really expecting them to drag the whole getting the child or Grogu to the Seeing Stone out over like 3 episodes.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
it was cool that they were just like, all right, let's do this. Like, we didn't have to get like sidetracked on 2 other planets on the way there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I was also very surprised to see the Dark Troopers as quickly as we did. But we can get into all that. Suffice it to say, I love this episode. It was awesome. 2 thumbs up.
Boom.
Yeah. So, does anybody have, or where do we want to start with it? Do you want to talk storyline or?
Well, I think the thing that we need to address once again is that the ship needs major repairs. I mean,
that ship's.
we talk about this every episode. Got to get
Gone.
repairs on the Razor Crest.
Yep.
Now it's like, I mean,
At a certain point, it doesn't qualify as repairs.
I mean,
He seemed
It's
more
a
upset
rebuild.
about the ship than anything.
it was
Yeah.
kind of his fault. Like, he landed on a planet that he was unfamiliar with, and then didn't take his time to be a tactician to figure out where he could land to hide his ship. He just was like, plop, right in the middle of like a Walmart parking lot, and just parked that sucker.
He does, and they for whatever reason, like, I feel like that happens every episode, and I always have that, like, my instant reaction is like, well, what if somebody finds the ship?
That's exactly, yeah.
Or
This is
what I just thought of.
this is the one thing that was glaring to me that really bothered me about the episode was the ship. So
What about his
Gotcha.
jetpack that he just left on a rock?
Yeah,
He
so
took off for
I
no
think-
reason too.
well,
I think I think in retrospect, it was so he couldn't chase the Dark Troopers.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
But it was
as
just
far
weird
as
how
a
they, like,
story
take it
beat,
off.
yeah, but why they demanded him take his jetpack off was
It
kinda,
wasn't like lower your weapon. It was take your
Yeah,
jetpack.
Take
no,
your
I thought the
jetpack
same
off.
thing. Yeah,
You're gonna need
for
it
sure.
later. It
Boba
just,
Fett is extremely anticipatory.
yes.
10 steps ahead, baby.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a way that they could have executed the whole jet, without having to remove the jetpack so like randomly.
Mhm.
I was trying to think of a way that they could have worked that out. Like maybe he still has it and is still able to go after Grogu, but he ends up getting like shot down. Like
Yeah, that would have made for a more interesting story
yeah,
for sure.
maybe Moff Gideon or the Dark Troopers shoot him down and he falls. Almost what we think is to his death, almost like kind of War Machine style.
Hmm.
But
So
here's
what
another
you're
thing
saying
is how
What you're saying is you should have sent this episode to the script doctor, Jeff, again.
yeah. I mean, I felt like it was kind of only for this, like the story needed him not to have his jetpack so that they could kidnap Grogu.
Right.
And I wish they could have come up with a better reason. But
Sure.
what was that? I was also going to say something. Oh, Boba Fett's armor. Why couldn't he have gotten his armor from Timothy Oliphant's character
Yeah, I
this
didn't
whole
get that
time?
either.
I mean, it seems like Mando
I
is
feel like that's
such a
something that-
bigger threat to him than Timothy Oliphant's Marshall character. Like he could have easily got his armor back if he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, with the context we have now, I would say for sure. I'd be interested because there's been talks about them doing a miniseries with Boba, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, originally Josh Trank was supposedly directing a Boba Fett movie, and then what's the guy that directed Logan?
Shoot,
Can't think of his name, and he also did the Ford v Ferrari movie.
yeah.
He was supposed to direct it, or maybe he was supposed to direct like Obi-Wan. I don't know.
Mangold.
There's been so many. Yeah, James Mangold. I'm pretty sure it was a Boba Fett though that he was supposed to direct. But yeah, there've been talks about Boba Fett stuff ever since Disney's acquisition. But
Yeah.
I just don't see Disney doing a Boba Fett show. It just seems way too similar to Mando. Like maybe
I
they
think it
just
kinda
loop
depends.
him into Mando. Like I don't see them doing.
Well,
two
the reason
separate
I say
shows.
that is like I agree that at this point there's not really a reason to do a Mando or a Boba Fett show where he's back in his armor after the Sarlacc pit. I feel like if they were going to do it, it would be exploring like prequel to this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's compelling or not, but I feel like he's very much running parallel to the Mandalorian right now. So
Right.
I don't know, if there's anything there that can really be done.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it feels like it falls a little flat. I agree with you, Ryan, that if they were to do any exploration with the story, that they would go pre-rebellion.
And if you were going to ask any questions about Boba Fett's character, given his participation in The Mandalorian, it would be how the heck did he survive the Sarlacc pit and where's he been?
yeah,
So-
but like most things, they're better left undiscovered.
Unsaid. I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm not saying that it's a good idea. I'm just saying I feel like if they were going to do a show, that would be the area to explore. But I don't know. I'm not running Disney.
Well,
He's just chilling
Maybe
with
one
some
day.
sand people.
That's right. I also will say I agree with you, Brandon, that the one weakness of this episode was the geography. It did kind of just feel like all right, we gotta find somewhere to shoot. Like,
yeah.
let's go up in the
Well,
hills.
it's a shame because it's the one location that actually felt like a location versus like them filming with that, LED tech.
Mhm.
But sadly, it just felt too normal.
I will say that one thing I did like about it was I actually like when the troopers were landing and they were fighting. Like it felt like I was playing Battlefront.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
don't
got
know
that
if you
vibe.
guys, yeah,
Like
if
the
you ever
original
played
like
that game,
PS2 Battlefront.
yeah, which was really cool. Just I mean, as a fan of that game, that was kind of cool. I haven't ever really felt that way watching a movie or anything Star Wars before.
Yeah.
So I thought, Brandon, have you ever played that game?
I've only played, I guess, the newest iteration.
Gotcha.
Or the newest 2 iterations for the
Got it.
previous console generation. But I know what you're talking about.
Is what did you guys think about the Grogu seeing stone stuff?
I thought it
I
was
wish
adorable
Mando would
with his
stop
little
trying to do the
fingers,
same thing.
his little meditation.
Do what,
pose.
Chris?
I wish Mando would stop doing like he tries to go for him and he like gets blown back
3 times.
and then like a few minutes later he like goes for it again.
Come
He
on,
gets
kid, we
knocked
gotta
out
go.
for
Come
another
on.
battle. As soon as he wakes up, he's like, I'm gonna try the same thing again.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be different.
Yeah.
That was annoying, but other
Yeah.
than that, it was like a cool visual.
I had the same
Yeah.
thought. It's like, dude, you've already tried this. Like, also, him knowing that force field was keeping anything from getting to him, he shouldn't have been too threatened by Phoenix having her scope on him because I don't think it would have done anything. But
Yeah.
I do like that last blowback. He's like, all right, I'll just go take care of this. Don't move.
Yeah.
Can you hurry
Jeff,
up?
as more of the purist, because that was another thing that we haven't really seen in Star Wars was just kind of that, like the aura around him kind of thing. Is that something like, obviously they're books, so you don't see it, but like, is that something that feels like could be consistent with
Yeah, I think so.
the books? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it didn't feel like out of place or like,
No.
that was one thing I was wondering as I was watching it. Do what, Brandon?
What were you at? What didn't feel out of place?
So like when he was on the stone and he had like the blue like aura, ring of aura. I was just curious if
That whole, I know I've brought up the Jedi Fallen Order game previously. That sequence did remind me a lot of that game as well.
Gotcha.
Mainly that little seeing stone type location with the like Stonehenge type, rock formations around him. There's a level in that game that reminded me a lot of that.
Mhm.
Just that little set. And that's something that Cal, the main character, like that's kind of when you save the game, you find these little like rune looking locations that you like meditate on, and that's how you save the game. So
Gotcha.
that was kind of reminiscent of that. Speaking of
Go ahead.
so we were talking last week I think about Ahsoka tells him to take Grogu to the Seeing Stone, and if he calls out, then a Jedi remaining or whatever she
A
says
Jedi, yeah.
hears it, he'll come or whatever. So we talked about the possibility of Luke being that Jedi. Did we talk about anybody else that it could have been?
Mara Jade.
Mara Jade, yeah.
That was Jeff's wishful thinking. And
I don't know if that's. I mean, look, I would be more on board for Mara Jade than I would be for Luke. It would be really.
I mean,
cool
I
for
think
me.
as far as like a fan favorite, out of all of the female characters that you could possibly pull into the storyline, she would be the most popular.
But is
it
she
would-
represented in like the Clone War? Like, has she been an established character outside of the legacy stuff?
I don't think so, unless they. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Not to my
I'm sorry,
knowledge.
Jeff. I'm sorry to break this. to
I'm
you,
pretty
but
sure
I
she's a
don't think it's
ginger,
happening.
so Al would be on board with that.
Oh yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I was thinking, okay, Luke's an option. I've seen a lot of people throw out Mace Windu because you never see him die; you just see him go out the window.
Mace Window.
Mace Windu, Mace Windu. Because
That's how they say it. Norman.
he's named after falling out the window.
I hope not.
So he
Yeah,
could be
I
an
really
option.
hope not too. That would be.
I want to see Luke just as like let's just forget about the last thing we saw him in
That's
with
true.
The Last Jedi because I hated it so much.
Yeah.
So I'd just
Chris,
like to see
did you
Luke for that.
Did you see the fan art of Sebastian Stan
I did
as
not.
Luke? It's pretty crazy. You should look it up. It's
Yeah.
uncanny.
Yeah, it's
Check
pretty
this
great.
out right now.
I know that there's a character called Ezra in is it Rebels or Clone Wars? It's kind of tied in with Bo-Katan and all those guys.
Yeah,
Jedi or
is
Sith?
I've read about her.
He's a Jedi.
What's that? Oh, so he is force sensitive.
I'm pretty sure. Again,
Gotcha.
none of us watched that show, so we can't really speak
They
on
made
it
that dude look like Luke.
intelligently. But
Yep. Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy.
And then the other option would be Cal, the character that I'm talking about from the video game. That actor, they modeled that character after this actor that voices him. He's the guy from Gotham, and he is a really great character. I would encourage anybody that likes Star Wars to play that game. I've encouraged Ryan multiple times.
I know you would.
I'm sure I've mentioned it to Chris. Jeff, I know you don't play games, but it
Don't
is.
play no games.
It's an amazing game, I thought, and it's set between Revenge of the Sith. It's like it takes place right after Order 66.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it's really cool. And he's, as of the game, he's still around. I don't know what, if they'll further explore his character, but
Honestly, I think any Jedi in this time period would be cool to see because it's like past the Order and everybody's like a little bit of a Ronin or a rogue or, maybe not quite as like pure as we've seen like in the prequels where there's tons of Jedis laying around. So it might be like a more interesting character.
Right.
I'm hoping they like bring somebody from the Sith, somebody that's not known into
Like
the picture.
who would they pull from for that? Like
Nobody.
Darth
I'm just
Maul.
saying, like, yeah, oh my gosh, no, don't. No, just like a character that kind of fits the bill. I mean, it's somebody that
Gotcha.
isn't in the books or in the legacy stuff or in the video games. But just
so that's interesting to me.
But
so
just
you're go ahead.
but have a divide. So you have the Moff Gideon stuff that's going on with the Empire, and then you have and he's got the asset, right? He's got the kid. And then you have the Sith that come along that want the child, and then you have Thrawn as well. So you have these three different storylines that you could play off of, plus the Mandalorian.
It's interesting to me that you're saying like create a character essentially.
Yeah, because I don't. Here's the thing with the Mandalorian that I think is great is that the Mandalorian is a character that we've never seen before. I want to see more like Star Wars characters that are well developed, well thought out, have great backstories that can lift a show up and move it. I don't want to see like I don't want to.
No, I mean it's cool. That's interesting. I just would have expected you to, just knowing how like loyal you are to the books, like to really want to pull more from that.
Man,
Then,
like they took a big old dump on all of that a long time ago, so so I just have to kind of roll with it. I think that more realistically, like it would be great to see some of these characters, these legacy characters, come into the play, but I just don't think that is in the cards. I think it would make more sense and bring more people. You're essentially starting from scratch if you bring a new character in, like people who legacy folks don't know anything about this guy. New Star Wars folks, of course, don't. So it would help, I think, the storyline overall.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean that makes sense. One thing that I was thinking about too, what you said made me kind of think of it. The Dark Troopers, I guess, because we were talking about what they were using the child's blood for. In either last episode or the episode before.
I think it was
the one before.
Yeah. So, and I know they end that episode with showing Moff Gideon in that like hallway with all the Dark Troopers, which we kind of assumed they were creating force sensitive troopers or whatever.
I think Gideon is the one that's behind it. He wants the power.
Could be, yeah. No, but I was just it kind of
like
rules that out. This episode kind of rules that out a little bit,
as far as the Dark Trooper aspect. Yeah, because they seem droid.
Right. So if we, I don't know if we want to talk about what that could mean for that.
I had a few, I guess. I mean, when they were at the little research facility, it seemed like they had like beings in a vat type. You know, they were trying to grow or either mutate.
So the more natural thing to me seemed to be like the Snoke type.
Yeah, I mean that's
what I was thinking.
That's the most, I guess,
which I hate.
Direct connection. Or it's maybe them trying to revive the Emperor, which I could totally see them using this to lay the groundwork for that.
No.
I mean,
yeah, Jeff today texted or Slacked me. He was like, as long as they don't bring back Palpatine, then I'll be good.
Listen, no, I'm not saying that they're bringing Palpatine back for the show. I'm saying they're just laying the groundwork that they weren't able to thread in the movies, just to say, see, it was all.
It's not thread with the movies.
No, that's a Brian Johnson or whatever.
Wrong audience, Brandon.
Yeah, dude.
That's a Brian Johnson.
Is it Ryan Johnson? I don't even know that dude's name. He doesn't like. Screw him.
It's Ryan.
Yeah. Brian Johnson and Mace Windu.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think. I mean, did we have any other guesses besides Snoke theory? Because I mean, it's Snoke or Palpatine at least.
Well, as far as the vat is concerned,
or just, I mean, is it just going to be some sort of super being Sith type?
Well, yeah, between the vat and then I think the word he used at the end was like, we found a donor, like tell the doctor. Like it was kind of making me think like that Snoke kind of a route. I don't know, like growing something.
Yeah, I don't know. So I like when I watched the scene the first time where we saw all the vats and everything, I was like, and I even felt like I like heard, and I don't even know if this is the thing. Maybe it was just
the
me.
Music.
Yeah,
I heard people saying that they used Snoke's music in that scene, but I never.
Oh, okay. Well,
I never went to like vet that to see if that's the case.
Like that's the vibe. Like that's what I thought. I heard his like throne room music. But that could just be just like an ominous score or whatever.
These words made me
so when I watched the scene initially, I was like, what'd you say?
These words made me very unhappy.
Yeah. When I watched the episode initially, that was like immediately what I thought of and what the direction I thought they were going. And then I felt like as I watched the episode, they were like redirecting it towards the trooper thing at the end. So now that we obviously saw the Dark Troopers in action, I'm like kind of going back the other direction to my initial.
Now, to anybody who's like played the games or watched different series or maybe in the books, are the Dark Troopers supposed to be anything special versus like all the other types of droids we've seen before? Do they just like, let's make this one stronger?
Aren't there Force sensitive Dark Troopers?
I know nothing about them.
I don't know.
I feel like there are. Am I going to have to Googleizer it?
Are they supposed to be just robots? Or is that just the look that they had?
Yeah, comment in the comments. Yeah. Do what, Chris?
Are they supposed to be like robots? Or is this just like kind of the look that they had going on?
From what I understand, they are supposed to be robots.
Called droids.
Another question. When all those Dark Troopers landed and surrounded Grogu, did anybody else think like you'd see Frodo in the corner like popping the ring off? Like it looked exactly like that to me in Fellowship.
I could totally see that.
You talking about like the.
I just thought they'd all like have their swords like this, like go straight up and start approaching.
Weathertop.
And then some flames come in.
Yeah, I got Iron Man vibes. They arrived.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a possibility that they could be like half droid, half human, hybrid type, because we don't see their upper half, but their legs are definitely droid.
Trying to look up the Dark Trooper thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the intention is that they're using his blood or his midichlorian count or whatever whatever you call it. I know they called it M count or something. Nobody wants to say midichlorians.
Yeah, that's right.
But I would put money on it being unrelated to the Dark Trooper thing at this point. I know that we all I know Ryan and I were both like guessing that could be what they were using it for, but seems like it's not. Did you find anything, Ryan?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any force sensitivity. There are like multiple phases though. It looks like there's like phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So maybe, I don't know, that could be an angle that they're trying to play. But again, I don't know how it would tie in with the Grogu blood thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoyed the the Trooper Grogu like prison cell scene at the end where they're just like floating around and like can't do anything. He comes in, Moff Gideon comes in with his Dark Saber and his 2 troopers. He's like, all right, we'll just let him finish and pass out. And then,
yeah. Wears you out, doesn't it, little buddy?
That's right. Was the Dark Saber, Jeff, is the Dark Saber something that is like a constant in the books, or is that just a Rebels Clone Wars?
I mean, the Dark Saber in the books was a Death Star type weapon that was developed by the Hutts.
Interesting. So is it the same concept, or is it completely different?
It's completely like the sword that you're talking about, the sword that he carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different, completely different. Like this thing was like a space station.
Oh, dang. All right, so quite different.
Yeah, the what, like Vibroblade or something like that, if my memory is correct. That's what I thought.
I remember those in the Old Republic games.
Yeah.
Chris, did you ever play those?
I don't think I ever played those.
Isn't that what whatever the villain's name in Solo had, those little daggers? Didn't he have those little vibroblade things?
So vibroblades are like full size swords.
But isn't that
okay? But the tech
is what?
It just seemed like that was the tech he had. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe similar to what the Praetorian Guards had in Last Jedi, because they had those little like electric-y stimulated blades or whatever it seemed. Anyway, it was interesting to see. I guess I didn't assume that the Dark Saber kind of retracted and expanded out of a hilt. For whatever reason, I thought it was an actual, like, more of a sword that was electrified somehow. But to see it actually extend out of a hilt was a surprise to me. I don't know why. Huh?
Did it not do that in the reveal in the first season?
Well, no, because in the last episode of last season, all you see is this, the sword coming out. He cuts a hole out of the ship, so you don't see it expand out of a hilt, and then he's just holding it.
Yeah.
So, in any of the movies so far, have we seen them kind of dive into like the lore of using the crystals to make the lightsabers, or have they not really touched on that?
No, they had that, Jeff, in that deleted scene for Jedi where Luke is putting the saber together. Could you see the crystals in that, or was he just?
Oh man, I don't know. It's been too long since I've.
I feel like you couldn't even see it in that scene. It was just him like kind of tinkering with his lightsaber.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, they do it again in Jedi Fallen Order. That's a big part of the game. The whole customization of like your lightsaber, your hilt, and you can change your kyber crystal color and all that kind of stuff as you level up. But I imagine they probably explore that in the animated shows as well. But yeah, they haven't touched upon that. I mean, like at Galaxy's Edge, when you buy a lightsaber, you can buy, different kyber crystals. So it's like, it seems like it's something that the hardcore fan community knows about, but I guess on a mass scale, I don't think a lot of people even know that that's a thing.
Yeah,
but
for sure. One other thing I wanted to touch on was, I think this is like the either 3 out of 4 or 3 episodes in a row where they've had awesome, like kind of like dogfight, sky fighter type scenes. I loved the Dark Trooper, like them flying out of the ship. I thought that was really cool. But then I also got like, and Al's here, so I can mention it. But I got like vibes of when they would like pan up and see the ships coming out of the sky. I got like Man of Steel vibes from the world engines like coming.
I did
down.
like those shots; they were pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like a real like grounded look up at that happening. I feel like that's something we haven't seen before. Brandon,
Dead back.
this is your chance to talk. This is your chance to talk Zack Snyder without Al here.
Do we want to
I
say
did the color
what
grading
Al's
this
comments
episode.
were for this? It was Seafoam.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, Al did want us to share his thoughts. Oh, actually, I told him I would share his thoughts. He said, verbatim, "This week's Mando was the best episode yet. You could tell the step up in directing." There you go.
Good.
And the reason why he said that is because he likes Robert Rodriguez.
He does. He does indeed. I guess I agree with him though. I really like this episode.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead.
No, dude.
Oh, Brandon, this is your show.
You go for it, buddy.
All right, I'm going. Given Robert Rodriguez is who he is, and like action and all that is something he's shown to do very well. Like touching back to your earlier point, Brandon, of it felt almost like fan filmy in a lot of the action, especially anything that was like blaster based or from that kind of stormtrooper point of view. And because there was so much of like this episode being battle, like if I want to be critical, I could kind of like, hate on the episode a little bit and like, man, why did this fall so flat? I mean, overall, there's enough good stuff that I liked it, but there was definitely like a lot of the battle that was like, who did this? Or like when they have, I forgot the chick's Fennec, when she has her little like slow mo, like jump backwards off the boulder and shoot and roll. Like, that felt super like cheesy to me. And she's like pushing that boulder and like hits the first few guys, but then you got the one dude like 20 yards down who's just still like trying to shoot the boulder until he gets like it was one of those awkward like this is taking too long to happen.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of moments where I was like, oh. Where when I saw Robert Rodriguez at the end, I was like, he did this.
Yeah.
But I liked it overall still.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it definitely felt like it was padded with a lot of that kind of stuff. Like I was saying, earlier, reading that he was a late edition and had to pad the action a lot in order to get it as long as it was. That would kind of make sense. But overall, I thought it was, for the most part, I thought it was all good, except for the few complaints I had at the beginning. Go ahead, Jeff.
Is he the first director that is not a part of that core group of directors? So there's like five or so.
So last season, you had Bryce Dallas Howard, you had Jon Favreau. Well, I don't even know if Favreau actually directed episode. Maybe he did.
No, he just. I think
he
he did. I thought he produced.
I think he did.
I don't. Yeah, for some reason, I'm thinking he didn't direct an episode. Deborah Chow directed one or two. I know that Rick Famuyiwa directed two. Taika Waititi directed one. I think Filoni.
He did the pilot.
Filoni did the pilot?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I know. I'm pretty sure he did the Tatooine episode too, the one that I hated.
I remember talking to you about that.
And anybody else? I may be forgetting somebody. But yeah, and then this season,
it looks like he's just produced.
Favreau directed the first episode. The guy that did Ant-Man, Peyton Reed, did the second episode. Bryce Dallas Howard did the third. And then
Filoni did the last
Filoni
one.
did the fifth, but Grief Karga. Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
My mind is blank right now. Grief
Procedural.
Karga. Yeah, procedural.
Mace Window.
No, what's his
Mace
name?
Window.
Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers.
Oh, gotcha.
Apollo
Yeah.
Creed. No, he
Watched me some
directed
Happy
the fourth
Gilmore the
one,
other day.
and then Rodriguez. So they haven't. I don't know if they've announced the last two directors. They've kind of kept that close to the vest throughout the season. But
Yeah, I've liked how they've handled the directors. Like they almost kind of treat it as its own like little event reveal.
yeah, I agree. I like that. So seems like by how we kind of leave this episode that we're being keyed up for a big team up with a lot of characters we've met along the way. So we know that we've got obviously Mando, Boba Fett, Fennec, and we've got
Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr. Bill Burr's back.
On the planet Boston.
He's so distracting to me in this show because I love Bill Burr.
I do too, but his thick accent is very distracting.
And I know that he doesn't give a crap about Star Wars, and so like when he's doing like gun impersonations and stuff in the show, I'm sure he's like, "What am I doing now? What noise am I making?"
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, so we'll have Bill Burr, and then I assume Ahsoka will be back in the mix, and I assume that the Night Owls will be back in the mix. And then
I don't know when you say back in the mix, you feel like that's going to be something in this season?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, part of the reason why I think that is also because I saw a tweet from what's Al's favorite actress's name?
Hillary Swank.
Katie Sackhoff.
Yep, Al's favorite actress is Hillary Swank, guys. You heard it here.
Katie Sackhoff. It was either Katie Sackhoff that tweeted, or it was man, what's Ahsoka's actress name? I can't think of names today.
Rosario
apparently.
Dawson.
Rosario
Dawson.
Dawson. Yeah.
Um,
Rosie O'Dawson.
one of the two tweeted.
Rosario, sorry.
One of the two tweeted at the other one saying like it was like how much like they had fun working with them or whatever, and they haven't been on screen together, and so, yet.
Gotcha.
So that's why I feel like there's a little bit of credence to that. But yes, I do think that that's going to play into the end. I think it'll probably be like maybe they won't be a part of the team, but I think maybe they will like arrive and save the day type of thing, as like they tend to do in the show.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, I hope we get one more episode without the team, just Boba, because there's been like so much buildup of him being there, and he's kind of like the first Mandalorian that anybody ever saw. So
he was so awesome.
An episode more to him would be cool before we start getting just like overwhelmed with all these other people.
Yeah,
and I know we've talked about his or the kind of the filler action sequences in this episode, but everything with him, like
with him
his
was great.
combat and everything was so heavy hand. Like it was awesome. Like he was brutal.
Oh yeah,
at the beginning before he got his armor and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any complaints. He did look a little pudgy. Especially in one shot.
Would you call him Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
I did get annoyed that he took his helmet off at the end.
Did we lose Ryan? Okay, we'll just keep going. Get your battery fixed. What were you saying?
Yeah, when he was like watching over when Mando was like going through the wreckage, and he had like his helmet back off, and he was like sitting there. Kind of annoyed me because I'm like, Boba Fett, so we've ever known him as just like in that armor, that's all. But now it's like he's got the armor back and he's like already taken the helmet off. And I wish that like as soon as he got the armor, like that was it. We weren't seeing him like taking it off and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
just like a weird pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah, but I mean, according to, I guess it was the third episode where they revealed that the whole Mandalorian keeping their helmets on was only a certain sect, a more radical sect.
Yeah, I mean, more so we've only ever seen Boba Fett, with the helmet on.
Yeah.
He's hanging out with the Hutts, or if he's, in the meeting of bounty hunters, in the Cloud City, whatever thing.
Sure. Well, it's probably a good thing that we didn't see his face back then, because now a different guy's playing him. So.
Yep. Not an Englishman.
They don't have to go back and change his face in the special
Like
editions like they did with Anakin and all that. And the Emperor.
So does that mean that he was he a clone?
He's a clone of Jango, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
he calls him his father, but that was my assumption.
That was like your favorite
no,
movie.
I guess that's
prequel.
right. Yeah, I think so. I think in episode 2, like he did something. Man, I haven't seen the movie in so long, but he essentially wanted a clone of himself. I think that was.
Well, they're all
thought
clones of him, but
all the other clones were kind of like dumbed down versions, but he wanted like one pure clone, and like that's what Boba was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like naturally aging and like his exact replica and not kind of like a watered down version that takes
Wow,
orders, I guess.
you must be an episode 2 fanatic.
I love those prequels. The politics.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of wraps it up for this episode. Unless Brandon's got one more thing that he wants to throw out there.
Looking at my notes, I only have one other thing that's such a like throwaway thing, but I'll go ahead and say it.
Go ahead.
So I don't know how you guys watch these episodes. Do y'all get the like skip intro or skip whatever on the beginning?
Yeah.
So after the cold opening, they have a skip title. Like the 3 seconds that the Mandalorian in the episode name comes up, there's a skip title option. I just found that to be so like,
Look,
how impatient,
don't waste my time, all right?
How impatient are we as a society that we can't watch 3 seconds of a title card?
Very.
That's true.
I just
It
thought
takes
it was
3 seconds to like find the remote and press the button.
and press it. It's so silly to me. That was the only other note I
That
had.
is funny.
So
I
there
didn't
you
notice
go.
that.
That's it.
Brandon's one more thing.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything else. I don't think.
Gents, anything else?
No.
I liked Phoenix abs that look like Luke's hand.
Actually, Ryan, you and I talked about
yeah.
this earlier today. Here's the one more thing. So, I think it was last episode
sure.
we talked about if they were going to wrap up this whole Grogu story arc, or if we saw it playing out further. It seemed like, I think, Jeff, you said that you thought it would be wrapped up in 3 seasons, or maybe you're talking about something else.
What, as far as this,
That was like the Moff Gideon stuff.
Okay.
When we were talking about it.
Are you talking about the
He said
story,
2 or
like the
3 seasons.
Mandalorian storyline as a whole?
Well, I mean, I don't think they have a timeline on that. I think they're just gonna keep playing it out until people stop watching. But
Sorry, I was.
So that was the conversation when we were talking about Thrawn, and I said that I felt like at this point the Moff Gideon thing has got to like come to a head at some point, and Jeff said he thinks 2 or 3 more seasons.
yeah, I mean, I kind of fall in line with Jeff. I think it's at least a 3-season arc, personally.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you guys as far as
it could be. I think it maybe I can definitely see that happening if Moff Gideon is trying to become Force sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Then that opens up all kinds of stuff.
That's
but like as he exists currently.
That's what
Go
I
ahead.
think. That's what I think is happening.
Gotcha.
Because I think what he's doing is like what, well, I think he's testing on other beings or other people to try
Sure.
to see whether or not they'll take it before they can figure out how to make it work with him. I could be
Gotcha.
wrong though. It would just make more.
No, I mean,
it would
that's
make
a
sense
valid
because
theory. Yeah.
I mean he's walking around as like a wannabe Sith Lord Jedi anyways because he's got
Right.
like essentially a lightsaber he's carrying around.
Right.
So
yeah,
Sure.
I can see that.
And he dresses like Darth Vader from the neck down.
a little bit, yeah.
Chris,
But-
what do you think?
I don't really care season wise as long as it doesn't feel, drawn out. But Moff Gideon,
You definitely
I feel
get
like,
drawn out with this show.
Well, that's why I think that
Not lately, not
they'll
the past few
definitely let
episodes.
it run
I agree with you on that.
because they don't. We haven't spent hardly any time with Moff Gideon. I mean,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, so you
I
got
just
like
feel
two seasons to maybe get him to be flushed out fully before people get tired of him and want to move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
We
think
don't-
that it will require like more of an evolution in his character. Maybe that's coming. I
With
just think as
force
it
powers.
exists currently, something like
I just
that
hope at
makes
some
him-
point that doctor tells him back to formula. And that would
Yeah.
do it for me.
Back to formula.
Yeah. So, do we see any scenario where Mando and Grogu like separate as far as part ways?
Man, that's gonna
No.
be so hard for Disney to do.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean,
It's gonna be so hard.
I don't see them.
I'll be honest with you too. Like it was pretty tough watching them get separated this episode.
It's a tragedy.
It happened a lot
Poor
quicker.
guy. Like,
Ryan, he lives in your living room. He's never going to be gone from you.
I know. I looked over. I was like, it's okay. He's right here. Pat his head.
It happened a lot quicker than I thought it would. Like
I agree.
I was
This whole episode was a lot more accelerated than.
I could have
thought it was
definitely
gonna be.
seen them using that as a cliffhanger for the season for sure.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
mean, we were all kind of expecting it to happen at some point this season, but yeah, I didn't
Right.
know that would be this
Sooner or
episode.
later, when you leave him alone, somebody's going to take him.
That's
I
right.
know. Or he's
Yeah,
in a force field and you can't get through it, and even no matter how hard you try and how many times you try.
Yeah, I was expecting like episode 15 to be where he gets taken, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was kind of expecting cliffhanger for the season, like Brandon was saying.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
2 more episodes. Be interesting
Yeah,
to see. You
we'll have
guys will
2
have
more.
to come back, talk about that.
that's right. Yeah.
I do have one
This
thing
part-
that
That's
did
good.
bother me though. But
Go ahead,
Chris, and
fire
Chris brought
away.
it up was the door to the Luke Skywalker robo abs
Mhm.
that Finnick had. That
Yeah.
I don't know how that carried the story along. It was so weird.
Little fan service.
Like,
all
it like squeaks open.
Yeah, I know. Well, all I could see was just like a door on her suit that had like a green patch like laid underneath it
Yeah.
for the green screen.
Yeah.
It really bothered me quite a bit.
So just the fact that it was a door bothered you?
Yeah, it was just like, here, just look inside.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Like,
That's just so you know, Jeff. That's Brandon's reaction to when Al says something he disagrees with.
I mean, but they could have made it more obvious. It was just like a door, like, you know, like she's a piggy bank or something. You're just
Right.
reach
What
in
did
there
what did
and
Luke
grab-
have? Did he have a mini door? What was it?
He did. He did.
Yeah, he had a little. He had a
That's
door
how you
too.
do it.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're consistent, you know?
This is true.
I was actually thinking about
The
that
little
as well,
things.
just thinking about the like, I guess, it like how does that look in terms of like the rest of the organs? I was thinking, are people in this like galaxy far, far away, do they have different organs? Like, because as far as like infections and
Or
there's
about
like
Boba Fett fixed it.
like at what point does the cyborg element interact with the organic element, and how do they keep it clean? Like I was going into like this rabbit hole of how does this work? You know, like
Well, I thought about that with even Grogu. Like, does the Mandalorian change diapers? Like,
Right.
does Grogu wear a diaper?
We're getting into dark territory,
being
guys.
Okay, well,
being a
here's
father
another
and
question.
having children.
here's another question about Grogu. He's like what did they say he was, like 50, 60 years old?
50 something, yeah.
Like how long does it take for these beings to mature? Like, and how is that
He has a
even,
growth
like,
spurt.
huh?
Yeah. Like physically or just like
Well,
mentally?
mentally, I guess, or like just mature. Like, I mean, Yoda level. How old is Yoda? Like, I mean,
He
like,
was
But
hundreds of years old.
Yoda had like a steep decline. If you look at him, like spinning around in the prequels, and then he fades away to
it's
death.
true.
And that was like what, a 30-year period, probably less.
Yeah, it's true. No, we need to look into that.
I'm sure
I mean,
they were
however you
thinking
wanna
about
write it.
that when they. Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a look inside the weird things I think about.
That's okay. Everybody thinks about weird things. Jeff's got to think about torso
Doors.
robotics.
Yeah, like what happens when she
torso
takes her,
doors.
What happens when she takes her armor or shirt off? Does the door go with it?
It might.
Just, it
Just
would
like
Maybe
pulls
it's-
her skin off. It's
maybe
just like a
it's-
Terminator.
just weird. Just weird.
It is. It's a weird world, Jeff.
All right. So, I think that about wraps it up. Unless Brandon's got a third thing he wants to talk about.
No, I'm good. I will just say thanks, guys, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good to discuss
Fun.
this.
Well,
We'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, we'll have to have you guys on more often.
To get you on a CiNEMACHiNE
And Jeff was
proper
on our
app and
Jeff was on our most viewed episode ever.
Yeah.
So
breaking
is that
records,
the Jeff
Jeff.
factor?
Woo!
Yeah.
Send it to all his relatives.
I know.
Yeah. Dad, please watch it.
Send it to all my aunts.
Yeah. All right. So, we'll be back.
Here's looking at you, Chris. See if you're a lucky charm as well.
If Chris has got a
Maybe.
network, so.
But then we'll have to figure out if it's no owl is the key.
We need our constants to be classified here.
Yeah,
in this
I just want to help you guys get like an extra 5 minutes of plugging some sponsor.
Right.
Good. Yeah. Excellent.
Well,
I'm
speaking
sure
of plugging,
I'm sure your scheming self can come up with something.
plug away, Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show, but if you love talking geek stuff, I recommend that you follow us on Twitter at CAPECAST Show, and if you don't watch our movie review show called CiNEMACHiNE, I recommend you do that, and check out at CiNEMACHiNE Pod on Instagram. And we will be back next week to review Chapter 15. Any title guesses?
You just told us.
The Team.
The Team. Yeah.
No, Mr. Wayne. This is the Team.
All right, that's a terrible way to end this.
Yeah, it is. Bye.
All right. All right, bye.